High in the canopy of a neotropical forest, a small, spotted silhouette moves with a fluid, deliberate grace. It weaves through the branches as if the trees themselves were guiding its path, climbing, balancing, and vanishing behind broad leaves without a sound. For a moment, only the faint rustle of disturbed foliage hints that anything was there at all. Far to the south, in a world stripped of trees entirely, another cat navigates a very different landscape. Here the air is thin, the ground cold and stony, and the horizon stretches across a high, windswept plateau. The animal pauses among boulders dusted with frost, its thick tail curled close for warmth, eyes scanning a terrain defined by silence and open space. The first cat is a Margay, while the second is an Andean Mountain Cat. Two species, living in habitats that could not be more different. One in the humid darkness of the forest canopy, the other in the harsh clarity of the high Andes. Yet they both belong to the same genus, a lineage of small, spotted predators that has radiated across South America's most varied environments, adapting to forests, grasslands, scrublands, and mountains. Today, we're exploring the genus Leopardus. If you'd like to learn more, check out the document in the description with research papers and image credits. Leopardus belongs to the family Felidae, the cats. This is a group that ranges from the tiny, familiar house cat curled on a windowsill to the powerful lions and tigers that roam grasslands and forests across the globe. Despite their differences in size and habitat, all cats share the same basic blueprint: retractable claws for gripping prey, sharp teeth for tearing flesh, highly tuned senses, and bodies built for stealth, speed, and agility. Within Felidae, species diverged relatively recently in evolutionary terms, giving rise to the diversity we see today: big cats like lions and tigers, medium cats like leopards and cougars, and small cats like those in the genus Leopardus. And here's a fun twist for anyone paying attention. Despite the name, the leopard is not part of Leopardus. The genus Leopardus is strictly small cats of the Americas, while the leopard roams Africa and Asia and is more closely related to lions and tigers. Names can be tricky in biology, and sometimes misleading. It's the same evolutionary history that explains both the similarities across cats, the same hunting strategies, the same graceful movements, and the differences from the canopy-dwelling Margay to the high-altitude Andean mountain cat. Understanding this family context helps us appreciate just how remarkable the radiation of Leopardus really is, and why it is so complicated. For scientists, the evolutionary history of Leopardus is anything but straightforward. Different studies, using different parts of the genome, often produce slightly different family trees. Even in just the last 5 years, multiple analyses have produced Leopardus phylogenies that differ from each other. Some place the ocelot and Margay as the earliest diverging lineages. Others agree these species are closely related, but nest them deeper within the larger family tree. Still others argue that the Margay is more closely related to the Andean mountain cat. Within the Tigrina complex, relationships are even more tangled. Some genetic studies suggest multiple distinct lineages, while others recover hybridization between neighboring species. Why is it so complicated? The answer lies partly in timing. Most Leopardus species split from each other over a very short evolutionary window, a rapid radiation that left only faint genetic traces of the order in which lineages diverged. And then there's hybridization. Unlike many other felids, Leopardus species can interbreed in the wild, sometimes with species far removed on the family tree. These events mix genomes and obscure the signals of ancestry, making it difficult to say definitively which species is the closest relative of another. The result is a genus where relationships are fluid and no single tree captures every detail perfectly. Different studies, different genes, and different analytical methods all yield slightly different answers. And you know what? I don't think it really matters. Humans often like things packaged in nice, neat, tidy boxes, but biology is inherently messy. In this case, many of the modern species started diverging from each other around the same time, separated by only a few 100,000 years, which in evolutionary terms is the blink of an eye. Because of all this uncertainty, The family tree we'll be showing is approximate, a simplified version that helps us follow the major lineages, but isn't necessarily 100% accurate. With that in mind, let's start with the forest lineage, where the ocelot and margay make their home. The ocelot is the largest of the Leopardus species, a medium-sized predator that roams forests, woodlands, and even the edges of open habitats. Its spotted coat blends seamlessly with dappled sunlight and shadows, allowing it to move almost unseen. Agile and opportunistic, the ocelot preys on small mammals, birds, and reptiles, and can even take fish from shallow streams. It's the kind of cat that seems perfectly at home in the forest, yet versatile enough to adapt when the environment changes. The margay, slightly smaller and more lightly built than the ocelot, occupies the forest canopy. We'll return to this remarkable climber later to explore the adaptations that make it unique. Together, these species illustrate the ecological diversity within the forest lineage. One a generalist able to roam multiple levels of the forest, the other a master of the treetops. They are the first branches of Leopardus, and their adaptations set the stage for the rest of the genus, which radiates into even more specialized habitats across South America. Beyond the ocelot and margay, the forests of Central and South America are also home to a group of much smaller, far more elusive cats. These are the animals often grouped under the name of Tigrina, or sometimes Oncella, a complex of closely related species whose exact boundaries are still being debated. At a glance, these cats look remarkably similar. Small bodies, long tails, and finely spotted coats that dissolve into shadow on the forest floor. For much of the 20th century, many of them were treated as a single species, but genetic studies have revealed a more complicated picture. Today, most researchers agree on at least two distinct species within this complex, the Oncella and the southern Tigrina. Beyond that, the situation becomes less clear. Depending on the study, additional populations may be recognized as separate species or grouped together more broadly. Part of the problem is that these cats don't always stay genetically isolated. In several regions, neighboring lineages hybridize where the ranges meet, mixing genomes and blurring the signals that scientists rely on to reconstruct evolutionary history. As with other parts of Leopardus, different genes can tell different stories. Ecologically, these cats are hunters of the forest understory. They move through dense vegetation, preying on small mammals, birds, and reptiles, often under the cover of darkness. Their small size allows them to exploit niches that larger cats cannot, slipping through tangled forest and hunting prey weighing grams rather than kilograms. In many ways, the Tigrina complex represents the most cryptid side of Leopardus evolution, a radiation of small, visually similar cats shaped by isolation, rapid divergence, and occasional gene flow between lineages. It's here that the limits of neat classification become more obvious, and where the family tree grows its most tangled branches. Not all members of Leopardus remain tied to forests. As the genus diversified, some lineages moved out into open landscapes, grasslands, scrub, and mountains. Environments defined less by cover and more by exposure. One of the most widespread of these is Geoffroy's cat. Found across much of southern South America, it inhabits open woodlands, pampas, and shrublands. We'll return to Geoffroy's cat later to see how it thrives in such a range of environments. Closely associated with open habitats is the pampas cat, or more accurately, what we still commonly call the pampas cat. As with the Tigrina complex, genetic evidence suggests this lineage likely includes multiple distinct species, each adapted to different regions. For the purposes of this video, we'll treat it as a single lineage, a stocky, thick-furred cat suited to cold, arid grasslands and high plains. Its dense coat and muted colours provide both insulation and camouflage in landscapes where shelter is scarce. At the southern edge of this genus is the codcod, the smallest cat in the Americas. Unlike most open habitat species, the codcod is closely associated with dense temperate forests, particularly in Chile. Its limited range and habitat dependence make it one of the most vulnerable Leopardus cats. Finally, the rare Andean Mountain Cat inhabits the highest plateaus. This elusive species is highly specialized for life in extreme high-altitude conditions. This is the third species we'll explore in more detail later. Together, these species show how far Leopardus has radiated beyond the forest. From windswept grasslands to the high Andes, this lineage has repeatedly adapted to environments where few small predators can survive. If the ocelot is what most people think of when they imagine a small South American cat, medium-sized, sleek, and a generalist hunter of forests and edges, then it provides a useful baseline for understanding Leopardus as a whole. Across the genus, cats share a common blueprint: stealth over strength, precision over power, and bodies built for careful, deliberate movement. They rely on camouflage, patience, and finely tuned senses rather than brute force, and their prey is usually small, making agility and subtlety essential. This shared design is remarkably flexible. Within the same basic template, Leopardus species have adapted to forests, open grasslands, scrublands, and even the high Andes. Most remain small and solitary, yet the way they use their bodies, senses, and environment varies dramatically depending on their habitat and lifestyle. Some species, however, take this blueprint to extraordinary extremes. The Margay moves through the forest canopy with acrobatic skills few predators can match. Geoffroy's cat demonstrates versatility in open habitats, balancing stealth and adaptability. And the Andean Mountain Cat survives in one of the harshest environments in South America, thriving where prey is scarce and temperatures plummet. These are the three species we'll explore in more detail. Every cat in this genus has its own adaptations, but together these three capture the range of environments Leopardus has conquered. By understanding this core Leopardus design, we can begin to appreciate just how diverse the genus really is. And now we can look more closely at a few of the species that push the boundaries of this feline template. High in the canopy of the neotropical forest, the Margay moves with a grace few predators can match. Slightly smaller and more lightly built than the ocelot, it seems almost designed for the treetops. Its long tail balances each leap, while its ankles can rotate nearly 180 degrees, the only species capable of this in Leopardus, allowing it extreme mobility in the canopy. It can climb down trees head first, hang from slender branches, and leap with astonishing precision between trees. Its spotted coat provides perfect camouflage in the dappled light of the forest canopy, breaking up its outline among leaves and branches. This pattern is a common feature among forest-dwelling Leopardus cats, from the ocelot to oncella, helping them remain hidden from both prey and predators. While species in open habitats, like the Pampas cat or Andean Mountain Cat, tend to have more muted or uniform coats suited to grasslands or rocky terrain. Nocturnal and highly stealthy, the Margay is a versatile hunter that excels at targeting highly arboreal prey among the foliage, including monkeys, snakes, and birds. Its large eyes, keen hearing, and agile body make it a master of the vertical world, stalking prey in a three-dimensional environment where missteps can be fatal. Few predators can match this combination of climbing skill, balance, and patience. In the Margay, the Leopardus blueprint, stealth, precision, and adaptability, is pushed to an extreme, demonstrating just how specialized evolution can shape a predator. Across the open woodlands, grasslands, and scrub of southern South America, Geoffroy's cat shows a very different side of the Leopardus blueprint. Small and compact, it is a versatile predator, capable of surviving in habitats where cover is sparse and prey is widely dispersed. In these exposed landscapes, Geoffroy's cat depends on stealthy movements, keen senses, and flexible hunting strategies, shifting between stalking on the ground and pouncing from low shrubs to capture its prey. It is also known for a highly unusual behavior among cats, frequently standing upright on its hind legs, using its tail for balance, and scanning the surrounding grass and scrub for movement. This type of behavior would be pointless in the forest, but in open grasslands, it gives Geoffroy's cat a major advantage when hunting. In a world with few trees and little concealment, awareness is as important as stealth. Its coat varies widely in color and pattern, providing camouflage across grasslands, scrub, and open woodland. This variability reflects the diversity of environments it occupies, helping it remain hidden from both predators and prey. A generalist hunter, Geoffroy's cat feeds on rodents, birds, and reptiles, adjusting its behaviour to match the challenges of each habitat. Here, the Leopardus blueprint is applied not through extreme specialisation, but through flexibility. Geoffroy's cat shows that in open habitats, survival often depends on awareness and versatility rather than ambush alone. At the highest extremes lives one of the most specialised and elusive cats on Earth, the Andean Mountain Cat. Found at elevations that often exceed 4,000 metres, it inhabits a world of thin air, freezing temperatures, and vast open plateaus broken only by rock and snow. Life at this altitude demands a very different set of adaptations. The Andean Mountain Cat has a dense, insulating coat and a thick, elongated tail, often curled close to the body or used for balance. Its muted grey and ash-coloured patterns blend seamlessly with the rocky slopes and frost-dusted ground, providing camouflage in a landscape where vegetation offers little concealment. Unlike its lowland relatives, prey here is scarce and widely dispersed. The Andean Mountain Cat is closely associated with rocky outcrops and cliffs, where it hunts for scarches and other high-altitude rodents. In this harsh environment, energy efficiency is critical. Long pursuits are costly, and the successful hunts may be days apart. This cat is adapted not for speed or abundance, but for endurance and precision. It survives in one of the most demanding habitats occupied by any felid, and does so at remarkably low population densities. Even today, it remains one of the rarest and least studied cats in the world. Its biology inferred largely from camera traps, genetic traces, and fleeting encounters in remote landscapes. In the Andean Mountain Cat, the Leopardus blueprint is tested in an environment where survival itself is an achievement. Together, these species show just how diverse that simple blueprint can become when it spreads into many different ecological niches. That diversity, however, comes with a cost. Many Leopardus species occupy narrow ecological niches, rely on specific habitats, or exist at naturally low population densities. These traits make them remarkably well adapted, but also highly vulnerable. Across South America, habitat loss is the single greatest threat facing the genus. Forests are cleared for agriculture, grasslands are fragmented by fencing and development, and even remote high-altitude landscapes are increasingly altered by mining, roads, and expanding human activity. For species like the Margay, the loss of continuous forest canopy breaks the very pathways it depends on to hunt and move safely. For open habitat cats such as Geoffroy's cat, fragmentation increases exposure to persecution, road mortality, and competition with domestic animals. Hunting has also played a significant role in the decline of several Leopardus species. Throughout the 20th century, cats such as the ocelot, margay, and oncella were intensively hunted for the international fur trade. Their striking spotted coats highly prized in fashion markets. Millions of skins were exported before international protections were put in place. Today, large-scale commercial trade has largely collapsed due to legal protections, but its legacy remains. In some regions, Leopardus cats are still killed opportunistically for their pelts, or persecuted due to perceived threats to poultry and small livestock. For species with naturally low population densities, even occasional losses can have long-term consequences. The Andean Mountain Cat represents the most fragile extreme, with one of the lowest population densities of any felid. Even small disturbances can have outsized impacts. Climate change, in particular, threatens to alter prey availability and snow patterns in the high Andes, shrinking an already limited habitat even further. Compounding these pressures is uncertainty. Ongoing taxonomic revisions mean that some populations may represent distinct species or evolutionary lineages, each with its own conservation needs. In a genus where the family tree is still being untangled, protecting diversity before it disappears becomes especially important. The effects of these threats are already visible in their current conservation status. Of the Leopardus cats as they are commonly recognized today, only a minority are considered relatively secure, most often counted as the ocelot, Geoffroy's cat, and perhaps the codcod. Several species, including the Margay and pampas cat complex, are listed as near threatened, while others, such as the Oncella and southern Tigrina, are classified as vulnerable. At the most extreme end, since the Andean Mountain Cat, one of the most threatened felids on Earth, currently listed as endangered. But even these assessments come with a caveat. They reflect today's taxonomic understanding, not necessarily biological reality. As lineages like the pampas cat are split into multiple distinct species, it is likely that some of those newly recognized forms will prove to be far more threatened than current ratings suggest. For Leopardus, conservation is inseparable from discovery. Only continued research will tell us how much diversity is really at risk. Leopardus shows us how flexible and inventive evolution can be, but it also reminds us that specialization can be a double-edged sword. The same adaptations that allow these cats to thrive in forests, grasslands, and mountains leave them exposed when those environments change too quickly. From the shadowed canopy of the rainforest to the open grasslands and the frozen heights of the Andes, Leopardus is a reminder that evolution does not need radical reinvention to create diversity. A single blueprint, refined, repeated, reshaped, has given rise to a remarkable array of predators, each finely tuned to its own corner of South America. Yet that same specialization comes with vulnerability. As landscapes change faster than these cats can adapt, the survival of this diversity is no longer guaranteed. Understanding how these species live and how they are connected is a first step toward protecting what remains. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the Leopardus cats. If this video sparked your curiosity, don't let it stop here. Share it, talk about it, and keep learning. There's still so much to discover about the world's rare and remarkable species, and the more we understand, the better our chances of protecting them. Thanks for watching.